So welcome to my new house. I'm finally filming something since we moved into my wonderful new house that we bought with all of my YouTube money. I don't make any money off of YouTube. So today I'm doing a video that's kind of been a trend on the YouTube, and it is a story time about a scary Uber ride. But what's different about my situation is I am actually an Uber driver. So in my story, I'm not the passenger who's scared of the driver, I'm the driver who's scared of the passenger, which I think kind of brings a different element to it. So I hope you enjoy my scary Uber driver story. Here we go. Whenever people hear that I'm an Uber driver, the first thing that they always ask me is if anything scary has ever happened to me. And until recently, my answer was always no. I've had funny stories and I've had drunk people, but I've never had someone who actually makes me feel unsafe. I tend to drive in nicer areas because you end up picking up nicer people. Sketchy people usually don't hang out in nicer areas. And being a girl, I'm a little bit more cautious about who I'm letting in my car. So on this particular morning, I had to take somebody from Orange County all the way to LAX. And that person is not my scary person, but it's important for the story. The only thing that I don't like about taking people to LAX is that personally, I hate driving in LA, so I don't want to continue Ubering when I'm in LA. So whenever I get sent to LAX, I automatically drop the person off. I turn off my driver app, basically saying I don't want to pick anybody else up, and then I drive all the way back to Orange County. And I end up losing at least an hour, sometimes more depending on traffic, of Uber driving time that I have like set aside to be like, okay, this is the time I'm Uber driving. So I end up losing a lot of time, which equals money, and so that's kind of the only frustrating part about taking somebody to LAX. I drop my passenger off at LAX and I start driving back to Orange County, and I hit a lot of traffic. So after sitting in traffic for almost 2 hours, I decided I'm just gonna get off at the next city I know and turn on my Uber app and start driving from there. I end up in a city called Westminster. I figured it's a decent area because I go to school there and I've never really had any issues there. I get off the freeway and I turn on my app and I immediately get the Uber ping. Ping, ping, ping. And I see I'm picking somebody up at a funeral home. So I'm like, oh, how sad. Like, this person probably just went to a funeral. Like, that really sucks. I accept the ride, I drive up, and it's some gangster-ish looking guy. Not in all black clothes, and I'm pretty sure he didn't go to a funeral. And I pull in, and he hops in my car, and the first thing he does is hit on me. I'm definitely not the type of person who thinks everybody's hitting on me. I know the difference between when someone's hitting on me and when someone's not hitting on me. And second of all, he later tells me that he was hitting on me. One of my biggest pet peeves is people hitting on people while they're at work. You're in a situation where usually you're in the like customer's always right situation, and you can't really do anything that can be perceived as rude or mean, and guys tend to get their feelings hurt when they hit on someone and it doesn't go the way they want it to go. So he hits on me and I kind of just brush it off and laugh and pretend like I didn't realize it. He ends up telling me that we are gonna go buy shoes off of someone on Craigslist, and he hopes that they're real, and the guy said he had proof that they're real, but if he doesn't, then he's gonna be pissed. And I'm like, okay, whatever, I don't really care what your story is. So he tells me that after he picks up the shoes, he wants me to take him somewhere else. And this happens a lot. People always kind of have a middle destination. Take me to the liquor store, bring me back, take me here, take me there. And that's fine. That's more money for me, so I don't really care. But then he says, I have a lot of errands to run today, and if you want, you can turn your app off, and I'll pay you in cash, so that way you don't have to give a percentage to Uber. Hell no. Why would I take the risk of, because this would have been such a dumb thing on my part to accept that, because first of all, if I get into a car accident while I'm driving for Uber, Uber's insurance covers me. If I got into a car accident while I'm not driving Uber, Uber's insurance doesn't cover me. And second of all, if he tries something while I'm driving and I don't have proof that he was in my car as an Uber passenger, I would lose all the protection that I would get as an Uber driver. So, hell no, I'm not doing that. But I politely just told him, oh no, that's okay, I don't mind. So we're driving for a little bit and he says, yeah, I got into a fight with my Uber driver yesterday. That's rarely interesting, like an argument, like what happened? No, I punched him in the face. I'm the Uber driver in this situation, and you're telling me that yesterday you punched an Uber driver in the face. That makes me feel fantastic. So I'm just kind of like, what happened? And story about how he got in the car and it was an Indian guy and he smelled like curry and it was really nasty, so he tried to roll down the window and the Uber driver got mad at him and apparently called him an effing monkey, and then he socked him in the face, the passenger socked the Uber driver in the face, and they get out of the car and they start beating each other up. I don't know if that's true. I don't care if that's true. Why are you telling me this story? I'm an Uber driver! So I asked him, like, if the cops came or if he got in trouble or what was going on. And he's like, no, like, everything's cool. I'm really glad that I didn't get in trouble though because I'm on parole and I just got out of jail. So at this point, I am ecstatic to have this wonderful citizen in my car. So he starts asking me all of the normal small talk Uber questions and ends up finding out that I'm in school and asks me where I go to school, and I tell him, oh, I go to blank school. And he goes, oh yeah, there's a lot of FOBs there, which if you don't know what that means, it stands for fresh off the boat, which stands for people of Asian descent who are coming over as the first generation and don't speak very much English and are kind of still in the culture of wherever they came from. And it's a very derogatory term. I personally found it a little offensive, but once again, customer's always right. So I just kind of laughed and was like, oh, okay, sure, I guess I didn't really notice. And he's like, so you like Asian guys? And I don't think I mentioned this before, but he's Asian. And I basically just brushed it off and said like, oh, I don't know, I've never dated an Asian guy before. Like, I don't know. He's asking me about how I like being around all the FOBs, and I end up telling him that my high school was 85% Asian, and he once again is like, oh, so you date Asian guys? And I just kind of laugh it off because there's not much else I can do. He asked me where I live. I'm like, oh yeah, you know, I'm out in Irvine, which is like another highly Asian population. Why? I don't know, I just tend to live in Asian communities. I'm in Irvine, and he's like, you know what I noticed about Irvine? There are no liquor stores in Irvine, which is bull because I literally lived walking distance from one in Irvine. And I just kind of, once again, laughed it off and was like, oh, that's so weird. And he's like, where do you buy your liquor? And I'm like, at the grocery store. And he was so mind blown at the idea of buying liquor from a grocery store. Like, that was the weirdest thing he's ever heard before. And like, that's a normal thing, right? Like, people buy wine and hard alcohol and everything, beer. People buy alcohol from the grocery store. That's a normal thing. But he acted like this was like the weirdest thing he's ever heard. So then he starts asking me about specific bars, I guess, around Irvine that I had never been to, saying like, oh, have you been here, have you been there? And I keep telling him no, and he finally goes, what do you do for fun? And I end up telling him I'm married, and so I tend to stay home and just hang out with my husband and watch TV and drink at home. And I guess that offended him because the next thing he said was, you're married? Why didn't you tell me you were married? I don't know, that's not a thing I do. Hi, welcome to your Uber. I'll be your driver, Holly. I'm married, by the way. I have 2 dogs, and my favorite food is lasagna. Why would you feel like that's something I need to offer? And then he says, oh, well, I don't see a ring on your finger. And I had my left hand was down at my side, and I just kind of was like, oh yeah, I have a ring. And that's when things started getting really sketchy. He looked at my ring and suddenly was like, damn, that's a nice ring. And I'm like, oh, thanks. And he's like, I wouldn't wear that if I were you driving Uber because somebody might try and rob you. And he kept saying that over and over and over. And it was like, every time he said it, he was like convincing himself to do it almost. And I, you know, suddenly was very, very aware of the fact that I might be robbed. He kept asking me to show him my ring again. At one point, like, grabbed my hand and was looking at it and was trying to guess how much it was worth. And I kept telling him, like, oh, I don't know, I never really asked. asked my husband, like, I don't know. He wouldn't take that for an answer, and he was telling me about how his sister just got engaged and how her ring cost this much and her ring was smaller than mine, blah, 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 blah. And it turned into this like very scary situation for me. And he wouldn't stop talking about somebody robbing me. We finally get to his destination to buy his shoes, and it's on an apartment street where there are lots of cars, and so I kind of find a place to pull over a little bit farther back down the street. He says, all right, chill here, I'll come back, because he wanted me to take him somewhere else after, remember? So he's walking down to the end of the complex where the entrance is, and it's like a gated community, so there's, I have to sneeze. So he walks down to the end of the apartment complex, which I'm like on the other side of the street, and he's like waiting by the like door or the gate to get in, and he calls me. So Uber allows passengers to call their driver, but they don't give you like their real phone number. They like patch you in through a different number, whatever. I'm not a technology savvy person, so I don't know. So basically he calls me and he says, hey, can you come park your car over here? Because I want to keep an eye on you. I want to keep an eye on you. Not like, I don't want to walk all the way down the freaking street to find you. Not like, I'm worried you're going to drive away. Not like, I just want you closer to me when we leave. I want to keep an eye on you. That's weird. And it's right next to him, too. Like, I'm parked here, and then there's like street, and then he is like on the grass right there. I drive up and I pull into the spot that he like points me to, and I'm waiting there and I'm watching him, and the guy who's selling him shoes comes out, and he doesn't have shoes, he doesn't have shoe box, he doesn't have shoes in his hand, he doesn't have anything. And suddenly I'm thinking that I'm driving a drug dealer or something like that, and I'm like, okay, so this is sketch. And as I'm debating, should I leave? I think I should leave. Okay, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna wait until he's not looking at me, and then I'm just gonna go, and hopefully he doesn't chase after me. I'm watching him talking to this guy, and they seem fine, they're just talking, and then all of a sudden there's a lot more hand gestures, and it looks like they're yelling, and all of a sudden he puts his hands on the guy's chest, and I'm done, I'm out, goodbye. So I turn off the ride and I drive away, and I get out of there, and then I went home and I bought a taser. So that's my story about my scary Uber driver experience where I almost got my ring stolen. Before we go, my last couple of videos I uploaded where my Disneyland cast members talk about their experiences working at Disneyland. If you haven't seen it yet, part 1 will be linked right around here. And I just want to say, holy crap, you guys. It's been up for about a month, and part 1 has over 7,000 views. That's crazy! I didn't expect that to happen. My subscribers has like doubled since then. I don't expect all of them to watch my videos. I have like 102 now. But seriously, you guys, I'm so excited about it. I have been getting a lot of positive feedback about it, and I really, really am happy that so many people have enjoyed it. I'm hoping to do another one soon. I'm just kind of waiting for my summer work schedule to die down, and once I start school, I'll have a little bit more time during the day to schedule stuff. So if you guys want to see more of that stuff, if you guys want to hear stories about when I worked at Disneyland, I don't know, whatever you want, leave comments down below and give me a thumbs up because I said so. Just kidding. Leave me a thumbs up if you thought this story was really scary and you wish that it didn't happen, or that you, I don't know, are glad it didn't happen to you. Thank you so much for watching my scary Uber driver story. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I hated it. I hope you guys have a good weekend. Bye.